What up? What up? Your boy Twista right here. I want you to check me out on the Bootleg Kev Podcast. Know that.
All right, look, Bootleg Kev Podcast, Bootleg Kev Show. We got a legend. I don't say that lightly. Twista is here.
And I appreciate that.
You a fucking legend, bro.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man, listen. I just want to say, I've been trying. I feel like I've been DMing you probably for about 6 months. Trying to be like, yo, when you come to LA, man? Like,
it's been a while, man. I know we always like trying to lock in. I'm glad.
Yeah, and then when I was at the radio station, I mean, I probably been DMing you longer than that because we was trying to get you on at the radio station and shit. And yeah, it's good to have you here, though, bro.
No, man, it's better late than never, right?
100%, man, 100%. You have so much just historical legacy in the game, bro.
Yeah, man. It's been
you know what I'm saying?
Time. It's been a long
time.
Yeah.
Let's start with, like, obviously, I remember I first heard you it was probably around like 99 when I was like a kid.
Okay.
And you already, moving and shaking, but I think the first song I probably ever heard you on was probably Po Pimp.
Probably Po Pimp, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then digging into all the other shit, the Speed Not Mobsters and all that, you know what I'm saying? So like, during that era in Chicago hip hop, this was before the drill shit. I felt like it was like what you were doing, what Crucial Conflict was doing. And then on the other side of the token, it was like Common Sense and the Resurrection, and there was, so it always just felt like Chicago's always kind of been two sides sonically at all times.
Yeah, it was like South Side, West Side. You had to shout to the North Side too, but mostly like a South Side, West Side thing. Not really into it with each other, but just two different vibes a little bit when it came to music.
Yeah, what is it that inspired you to rap the way you rap originally? Because you, I always have this talk with the homie Ritz, that when it comes to like Tech 9 too, we've talked about you a lot. When it comes to chopping, there's nobody who can really like you. Like when you rap, it's so clean. Some people can rap fast, but it's really hard to understand. Like you enunciate so perfectly every single it's
like to me that's what it's about. That's the limit of it is how clear can you say your words at a certain pace or cadence. So to me that's what it's about. It's a complete package. And once one is over the other one, then you're not really doing it the right way.
But when did you start to master that? Like what were the influences that kind of made you decide to start rapping that way?
This was early on, just really because I was doing so many rhymes where I'm having punchlines and stuff like that, and like more into battles, like the younger stage, and I wanted to sound different, make something different, make a song or just a new flow.
Right.
So I started like changing up the flow and making different patterns, and then every once in a while you were coming up the street and I'd be rocking it to the beat.
Yeah.
And then just a little more, then a little more, and then you start to hear a few other rappers doing it here and there. Oh man. And then one day I just decided I want to make a whole song like that. I'm like, I always make little phrases like that. Let me make a whole song like that. Then I started making songs like Mr. Tongue Twister.
That's crazy. So what year was Mr. Tongue Twister?
Man, a long time ago. Like 91 or something like that.
91. Yeah. That's so crazy. It's crazy too, because
I think it was 91. Don't super quote me.
I was 4. No, but hey, what's crazy is like I remember as a kid, like there was like this I don't know if it was a beef or weird energy between you boys in Chicago and the Bone Thugs guys. It was kind of like, I think they might have said something on Art of War.
Yeah,
I think it was Art of War, right? It was on that album.
Like all of the early rappers that had that style at some form or time got out their body a little bit.
Right, yeah, because it was like, no, you biting me, you biting me. Yeah, well, I was doing it first.
Yeah, we all got out our body a little bit, about that type of stuff. So that was early on when you know, we all were trying to stake claim at a certain vibe, not realizing that we were all the founders of a certain sound.
Facts.
People, well, you know, once we started to realize how many people we influenced, then that's when we realized that we were all brothers in a sense.
Who said something first back then? Like
Probably
who took the
me.
first?
I
So
think
you
it
were the
was
first.
me.
Okay, so it was you first.
Yeah. I think I kicked it off first. I think I saw Crazy Bone when we was doing a video for Spit Your Game.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Game.
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, because years later, you guys ended up working on that together.
Yeah.
Shout out to Biggie.
Yeah, shout out to Crazy. You know, all of them my guys though. You know, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. It's crazy because we think about like how rap beef is now. It's like it's not a lot of maturing and getting past shit anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know. And then there is some, you know. So hopefully a lot of the younger cats look at the way we moved a little bit and kind of follow suit. You know.
When did you realize that you had something like? Because I think every rapper has a, you know, whether it's back then getting your demo in the right person's hand or hearing your record on the radio, or when was the first instance where you realized like, oh, I could really like make real money off this rap shit?
Man, I probably can't remember the first probably entering a contest back then, you know, because this was how I first got on. It's like just getting in contests and stuff like that. So I think it was maybe me and my guy Creed getting in the show one day, or should I say a contest, and did a song and got the opportunity to record a demo. And you know, once people start paying for stuff,
right? Once you saw people paid money to see me do,
like people would pay to see a show or something like that. You know, things like that.
Yeah, that's wild. So, you ended up putting out Adrenaline Rush. You were kind of like I don't want to call you an underground favorite, but you were kind of like you had like a dope cult following in hip hop. I remember when the Paid in Full soundtrack / Rocafella album came out. It was like a double disc album, and that was the first time that it was the We Are the Champions record. Yeah, and the way Dame brought you in on that record was so legendary. And you just came, you caught a fucking body. And I think I might have saw, it was like maybe a video of you or something in Chicago getting the Rocafella chain put on you.
It wasn't Chicago.
It was somewhere. It was on stage though, right?
Yeah, it was on stage. Yeah. It was that was a dope vibe right there. Shout out to the homie Dame.
Yeah. How did talk about how your relationship with Rocafella started?
Just early on, a little bit of everything. I would say Kanye, Dame, and Jay, all in some form or fashion, just had something to do with me being involved with Rocafella. Of course, Jay, you know, with him being who he is and us doing what we did with like you know, Is That Your Chick, popping tags, records like that.
Yep.
And then, of course, Ye having that vibe and bringing me along in that whole vibe, and then even with that vibe with like Dame with the Champions joint. So
yeah, that shit was crazy.
Everybody, I was cool with all of them.
Did you have a relationship with Kanye first because of the Chicago shit, or did you guys not really like have a relationship outside, but before he became Kanye West per se?
No, we was already cool.
You was already cool.
Yeah. We didn't kick it a lot or nothing like that, but we always was around each other, especially on the music scene, you know, in Chicago. So yeah, we was cool.
Yeah, it's crazy because you mentioned Is That Your Chick and Poppin' Tags. Those are some crazy joints, crazy features. Is That Your Chick is like, I think that's one of those records that gets forgotten in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like we forgot.
I be rocking that joint.
That joint is fucking crazy. Shows,
I be rocking that joint.
Oh, that shit is a classic.
Man, that's my joint.
I think it's the hardest Memphis Bleak record. That shit.
Okay.
Shout out to Bleak, but that's
shout out to the homie Bleak.
So originally, what made you decide to go to rock? I mean, obviously at the time it probably wasn't hard to make the Rocafella decision because it's the hardest crew in hip hop at the moment, right?
Yeah, we was rocking. Yeah, I was loving it. You know, that whole vibe to be around that team at that time period was definitely a plus. You know, and then to be vibing with them was a whole nother thing. So it was cool. Yeah.
What was give me like a Rocafella story, man. One that like just being around that era, being around Hove during that time, something that we like people might not know, just like a crazy experience that you had back then.
Just always weirded out at Jay's prediction ability, how he would look up and say, you know, that Slow Jams was gonna be a hit, and then it would happen, and then like me writing "Is This the End," that song with P Diddy,
Yep.
and when I did that song and walking in a room with Jay and P Diddy chopping it up, and we started talking about the "Is This the End" joint, and I remember how I was doing that joint. I was faded writing that joint, you know, so like real faded.
Right.
And I had some good weed that I never had before. So I wrote that joint and everything. So we was in there talking about it, and Jay was looking at me. He just looked and said, "You was high when you wrote that, wasn't you?" So it was just, but it was strange because I was real high when I wrote that. So for some reason about the flow, he knew I was high.
What, the origin of the Slow Jams is a record that I distinctly remember like being in high school and that being like my favorite record. You know, that was a record that was early Kanye as far as, you know, that was like one of Kanye's earliest records.
Yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
it was like Through the Wire, and then that came and
Yep.
and that just kind of added to his allure, and that was really like, was that like your first hit record as far as like radio, like solo
Like
radio?
on that level, yeah. That was like the biggest record of my career, hands down. Yeah.
Overnight Celebrity was nice too, though.
Man, that was the joint. You know, that was something to have to come with
Yeah.
after the whole the vibe of that. You know, so I got lucky being able to come with that one and him going as hard on the beat as he was able to.
Oh, that beat
So
was
that
crazy.
love.
Nah, but Slow Jams, tell us about that record. How was it made? Like, what were the origins of that record? Like
Slow Jams was something that was a vibe that Ye already had. He
Mhm.
already just had the whole aura of it. He had the beat. He had an idea of what he wanted me to do. So, you know, me obviously knowing what I'm hearing is like dope as hell. You know, not knowing it was gonna be that fucking big, but I'm like, man, I gotta body this. So I'm doing my thing on it, but then he put Jamie on it, and the way it all came together.
and that was like
whole
right.
vibe
That was
crazy.
like peak Jamie as an artist too. Or really, I feel like that is what really kind of kicked off people taking Jamie serious as a singer.
Yeah, like
It was that song,
That song was
because that was before Unpredictable. That was
Yeah.
before his album.
Of
So
course.
that was
Yeah.
like the very first time that we were like, oh, Jamie Foxx could sing.
Yeah, that's what turned it on to me for his music career. He always was talented doing music.
Of
but
course.
Of course, that record coming out like turned it on and launched that opportunity for him.
And you say
All right,
Jay
yeah.
called that record.
Yeah, he called it off.
He
top.
knew it was going to be a hit.
Yeah, he called it. Yeah.
When you were around Ye early, did he? I mean, because I always tell people who aren't like real hardcore Kanye fans, is Kanye's always been.
Tell my guy to grab some water.
Oh, you some water or something? Is there some water in there? I always tell people who haven't followed Kanye West until recently or the last 10 years that like Kanye's always been a very confident dude.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I mean, it's obviously magnified a lot, you know, but I feel like Kanye has always kind of been
A mad scientist.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mad fucking scientist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like working with him, because you were working with him, that was before College Dropout, right? Yeah, that was Slow Jams was before College Dropout,
Yeah.
before that released.
Yeah, you know, I already had a vibe of how he worked and just what he do because I was around him when he was making beats early on, you know. So I would always know that his sound was very unique. His choice of music was like a DJ almost. Like a, you know, it felt like a DJ. I was like, man, he knows his records, you know. So yeah, he was always dope to me.
Talk about too Cameron. So Cam has always paid homage to the Shy. He used to live there.
Yeah.
He on Purple Haze, he redid Adrenaline Rush, and you caught a fucking body on that.
Yeah.
What is it about Cam in Chicago and like just the homage and the respect he's always shown, man? It's been dope to see over the last however many years.
I just feel like, you know, it's an old saying where they say real recognize real, you know, and I just think, you know, the vibes relate, you know, like where he from and how he get down and Chi-Town people and how they get down. And then just, Cam being a person that moved around. I know he was in Ohio at one point, chilling, doing his thing too, like Chicago as well as other places. So, him being a fan of my music as well, me being a fan of his music, it was real dope when he came because he was in Chicago, and we actually sat right there in each other's face and talked about doing that record. So that was dope.
Did he come to you and when he came to you, was he like, yo, I want to remake this for Purple Haze?
Yeah, he had it mastermind already. He knew exactly what the fuck he wanted. Yeah, so that's what made that record so fun, was because he knew exactly how he wanted it.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Yo, let me ask you this. With Kamikaze being a classic record, right? That was your only album on Rocafella?
I didn't actually have an album drop on Rocafella.
So that album wasn't. So what was your situation with them? Because you had the chain on, you had the features, you know.
That it was pretty much more like a family vibe.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
That we could have took further, but at the time I was on Atlantic Records.
Right,
So,
I knew the album came out through Atlantic. I didn't know if Rock. So so it didn't. So you technically never dropped an album through Rocafella.
An album through Rocafella. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that was just some family tie shit. Like, hey, you part of the gang. Here's the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely, that was as far as we could take it. We would have took it further if the companies could have merged the situation, but you know, unfortunately, that couldn't happen. So I had to live it out.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Who were you closest with on the roster? Because there was such a large roster of artists. But you know, we were talking about the Young Guns. We were talking about All the State Property, Beans, Memphis. Like, who was like your closest comrade on the Rocafella roster?
Everybody was cool. I had a vibe with everybody. I probably kicked it the most with Bleak and Freeway.
Freeway's a good dude, man.
Yeah, those are two people I probably kicked it with the most.
Shouts to Free. It's crazy to see the evolution of what you guys started in the 90s with chopping and rapping that way. There's so many dope artists who do it now. The Logics of the world. We mentioned Ritz. Obviously Tech Nine's an OG. Tech can get in that bag. Who are some artists that you respect what they do when it comes to chopping like that?
Damn, who was that I was talking about the other day? Damn, what was oh man, you caught me up on that one too. I want to remember so hard. I can't remember the name of the group though. But definitely the people who you naming are still people who I listen to, like Ritz and stuff like that.
Now, hey, by the way, Ritz, you and Ritz ever talk about doing an EP together?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's mentioned that too. That's my boy. So he had mentioned it that in passing, and I was like, hey, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. We mentioned it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We're gonna be in the right space at the right time.
He's also another one of those guys that raps very fast, but like enunciates his words so where it's just like if you're listening, you understand every single thing he's saying. Yeah,
like some people got a funk zone with it, and then some people, they just do it. You gotta have a funk zone with it.
I want to talk. So your boy had sent me some talking points, and I had no idea that you a group that
it'll come to me.
Okay. So I didn't know that you are a concealed gun carry instructor.
Yeah, concealed carrier.
So official certified USCCA and NRA concealed carry instructor.
Yeah.
And you started a new gun safety company called the Gun Camp.
Yeah.
This is in Chicago?
Yeah.
So I'm a proponent. I'm a pretty liberal dude, but I'm very, very, I feel like we should all have a right to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? How did you get involved in that? Because I would never in my wildest dreams picture,
Man, like I've always been into firearms, but then when I got my concealed carry, my boy Eddie trained me to get my concealed carry license. And then when I wanted to be an instructor, my boy Creative trained me. Creative trained me to be a concealed carry instructor. Really during that whole quarantine thing, So I think a lot of us got an extra career or
in the quarantine
around that quarantine thing. So what happened with me was I got into that whole industry very heavy, and became an instructor and just been going after a lot of certifications since then, a few extra ones, So that's something I'm into heavy. I'm an advocate for Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Definitely, I wanna teach people the right way when it comes to guns and gun safety and just the people's thought process about guns. Sometimes.
Yeah, I think that sometimes in hip hop we get like a little like wrapped up in like whatever the popular issue is at the time, and I always talk with Killer Mike about this because Killer Mike's also very pro Second Amendment. He's gotten a lot of shit for that, by the way. Like they came for him a lot, but I think that especially in LA,
it's crazy.
No, they've came for Mike a lot over
know.
that,
Yeah.
and it's wild. It's like doesn't make any sense, and I think that he would always say like our people more than anybody, we need to protect ourselves more than anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially with what's been going on in the world the last, with this Trump shit and all this other wild shit. Like you never know, but
You never know what can happen, man.
but like I live in California, and it's like out here they pretty much make it as impossible as possible for you to protect yourself. So it's like out here, motherfuckers is getting robbed. I'm from Phoenix though.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix is anybody can have a gun.
Yeah, but you can't have a negligent discharge in Phoenix. It's rough, ain't it? Right?
What you mean?
I think in Arizona, if you have a negligent discharge, it's a little rougher.
You talking about you just fire the gun?
Yeah, with that type of law.
I just know that
can't have a mistake like that.
I know there, like I could literally give you my gun, and it's your gun now. You don't have to worry about registering it. You know what I mean? Like Cass is really, it's the wild West.
Can't do that in Chicago.
No, I'm sure, right.
2 cards in Chicago.
Well, I was gonna say it's like two sides of the coin, because if we think of Chicago and the gun violence in Chicago, right? Like, obviously, people are gonna get guns no matter what, right?
Yeah, that pretty much says it. Like, no matter how the gun laws are different in each state, you still got violence.
Yeah, and the people who want those guns, who are committing those crimes, they're gonna get those guns no matter what.
No matter what.
So why not be protected? Like,
why not be protected
legally? Obviously, you know what I'm saying.
What they say, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah, it's just I just think it's interesting. Like I think more people like yourself and Mike should I think it's dope that you guys talk about that, because in hip hop, and like I said, I'm pretty much liberal on most things. Just the gun shit, I'm like, listen, man, like this was America for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in the Constitution that we could protect ourselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And it is what it is. And a lot of times we are conditioned to have a perception of guns that make you go, while everybody else going,
So your thing is to try to just educate people, like, like this is, because guns is a scary thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you do these courses, you're teaching people about the weapon. You're teaching people how to take it apart, put it like what are you teaching people?
Yeah, we're teaching all of that. We're teaching people how to break a gun down, put it back together, like a field strip so you can clean it and everything. The parts to a gun, how to hold the gun, proper stance, proper grip, the safety rules. How to keep your finger off the trigger. How to make sure you don't muzzle anybody. The whole everything. So not only just the mentality of having a gun, but how to properly care for a gun and handle it with safety.
So you said during the pandemic you picked that up, because I know you do a lot of live shows. Like I know that you like under normal circumstances you do a bunch of live shows every year. How many live shows would you say you do a year?
I don't know. That's a question for somebody else. But a lot.
But a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, because I know you're in Phoenix a lot. My homie Justice books you out there. Shout out to Justice. But
you dig?
But what did you like outside of learning this new trade? How else did you handle the pandemic? Because the shit was kind of, at first it was kind of like, I feel like the first couple months it felt like, oh, well, I could work from home.
Yeah.
I feel like
I drew a lot of portraits and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, that was actually the first thing that I did as a kid.
So you were always a good artist.
The first talent that popped out was me drawing. Yeah,
so you was whipping up some portraits during the pandemic.
Yeah, I was, drawing portraits.
Did you watch the Tiger? What's the guy's name? Tiger King. Did you watch Tiger King on Netflix?
Nah.
Oh, you didn't watch that.
Nah, I didn't get a chance to
You heard of that though, right?
I heard of it. Though.
Yeah, this shit was crazy.
Yeah, I ain't sit down. It didn't grab me. I wasn't, it wasn't a time frame where it grabbed me enough to say, let me watch this shit.
Yo, have to stop the Bootleg Kev Podcast real quick and shout out our sponsor, Odd Socks. That's right. They've been holding us down from the jump, man, and they're not only the makers of the most comfortable socks in the world, shout out to Odd Socks, but they also now got the draws, man. The boxer briefs are so fire. They're so soft. They feel great on your ass, your nuts, whatever you're into. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got, they'll cover them up real comfortably. And ladies, you know you can wear these things to sleep. So go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the keyword Bootleg Kev, save 20% off. You know, one of the licenses they just got that I love are the Naruto socks. They just got the Naruto socks. Of course they got WWE. Those are Mankind socks, ladies and gentlemen. SpongeBob. And shout out to the GOAT, Ric Flair. So what you got to do, get you some Odd Socks. Thank me later. Save 20% off at checkout by using the keyword Bootleg Kev at oddsocksofficial.com. And we are super proud that they're presenting this podcast. Let's get back to it. What are your thoughts on Chicago's music scene the last 8 years, 9 years with the drill shit? Because the drill's so, when it first came out for me, I really wasn't, because I love the lyrical shit, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, it wasn't for me.
I mean, I loved it. You know, a lot of people have different perceptions of music at different times. So at that time, me listening to the music, it's a lot of different reasons. Like, you could listen to some of the drill music and you'll see, like, damn, from a DJ perspective, Adrenaline Rush fits right on top of it.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Same
So,
BPM.
Yeah. So definitely I'm locked in from that perspective. Then I saw, too, as technology advanced and people got a chance to open their laptops and see how Chicago really was from a Chief Keef perspective and Lil Durk and all of these guys right here that's coming up doing their thing, and you're like, wow. You know, so now you got something new that you never saw that added. Now we got another element added on to hip hop with this whole drill.
Oh, for sure.
Drill vibe, and it kind of shifted the way everybody is doing their music. So I love it because, you know, like, not only was I waiting on Chicago to just come with that constant quality music, man, once they started lighting it up, man, I was like, you know,
yeah, I feel like
a big fan
whatever
of my
you
city,
whatever you want to say, man. Like, all has influenced everything going on right now. Like, we just were in New York interviewing all the Brooklyn drill rappers, and it was like all of them are just straight.
Yeah.
Yo, I grew up listening to Chief Keef and Durk and G Herbo and all those guys too. Like, shout out to Durk, shout out to G Herbo. Like, those guys have evolved musically too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And their talents have evolved.
The young bulls, they be killing it, man. I love it.
You love it. Mm-hmm. What else out of Chicago are you check like because, you know, like I said, there's the other side of Chicago. You know, there's guys like Vic Mensa. I mean, obviously Chance has been on quite a run since about 2013. Yeah.
Vic Spencer too. It's a guy named Vic Spencer in Chicago that be killing it too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Vic Spencer. I thought you said Vic Spencer, like Vic Spencer.
You know, we get the Chicago slang, Vic Spencer.
Yeah. Yo, what's going on with the Crucial Conflict guys, man? I the last time I heard I want to say it was a Wild Style or one of them dudes was on Vic Mensa was a part of a group called Kids These Days. And they redid Hey.
Okay.
And I think the dude was on, and I was like, "Yo, I love the Final Tick."
They still do shows.
The Final Tick
man.
was my shit.
Yeah, and they still perform those records, man. You definitely need to check out a Crucial Conflict show.
One of the guys' names is Wild Style. Was one of his names? Was it Never?
Yep, Never.
I'm trying to remember if I remember.
Wild Style, Never, Cold Heart, and
Cold
Kilo,
Heart
and Kilo.
Kilo.
Yeah.
That shit in that Showdown record.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
That was
I'm trying to tell you.
That album was a
shout
classic.
out to Crucial Conflict. You dig?
What's up with the Do or Die guys?
Still doing shows.
Still doing their
thing.
thing.
Yeah, I do a lot of records with them. You know. Yeah.
What would you like? You know, because there was definitely a vibe about that music y'all were making. Like, it was some, because, you know, we think of Chicago, and I remember as a kid seeing the documentary, like getting the documentary from Blockbuster that, I forget which pimpin' documentary it was, but you remember they was doing pimpin' documentaries in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I remember Ice-T went to the Players Ball in Chicago, and there was like all kinds of famous pimps. There was like Mr. White. I can't even remember all the pimps in this fucking movie. But Chicago's known for pimping, for that culture, right?
Yeah, and that vibe
And that player shit.
When that Poe Pimp record got made, yeah. Definitely.
And I felt like that some of those records were just, they kind of just fit that vibe, and it was something. It was like it almost was like a real Midwest. Like at the time, there was West Coast, there was East Coast, and like that was like, to me, like what I kind of computed as like Midwest shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was everywhere though. You definitely had it, out this way. A lot of.
Oh, for sure. Shout out to the Bay.
Yeah. But so I just feel like when you input that vibe in a certain place, I think it's just the aura, the aura, the swag of the whole pimp culture, more so than anything, just would affect the music in a certain way,
100%. You got a new project coming out, 420.
Yeah,
a joint project.
Yeah, 420, and like when you were speaking of the Young Bulls in Chicago, definitely.
Well, let's get your man in here so we can talk about it, man. Want to go grab him? You're doing a joint album.
That's my man Rello. He got some dope music, In Chicago, we be doing our thing. He be doing his thing in the studio. He been working in my studio for a long time, and
Rello,
he be coming with it.
All right, so 420. What's the name of the album, man?
The News at 9.
News at 9.
The News at 9.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been making music together?
He been. How long you been working in the lab?
Like 2 years.
Okay. I gotta figure this out because this guy's. You've killed so many rappers on so many songs. It's like embarrassing. Like you got a hit list of guys you just put under the dirt on their own records. You know what I'm saying? How
it's never that, man.
No, but it is. It's not. It might not be that on purpose.
Yeah.
But come on, man.
Yeah. My bad. But I pick up the energy of the artists I'm working with. I'm always excited about the music, and I always try to please.
So what kind of pressure is it hopping on a record with this guy or doing a whole album, let alone?
It's a lot of pressure, but I create, so I make sure the music A1, everything got to be up to par, because like you say, definitely a legend. So when I step in the booth, got to make sure I gotta have everything in order.
And then plus, you might not be into his music as of yet, but once you get into his music and see how how artistic and prolific he is with it, you'll see it's not a problem for him to get on the record. If anything, in some ways, it's reverse a lot of times. Because remember, I'm from a certain era, and I have to stay relevant and keep up. And if I don't stay fresh and youthful thinking, then I can't mesh into that whole vibe.
Right.
So if anything, I'm hearing fabulous music when I come into the studio every day. So when I get offered the opportunity to get on it, I got to make sure that when I'm on it, I ain't coming with something that's like, man, he got my shit sounding old as hell. Or you get what I'm saying? So if anything, I got to kill it and have that same mentality just as much as he might.
How many records is on this project?
It's 5 records on that.
Okay, so 5-piece. Nice little 5-piece. Are you from Chicago as well?
Chicago,
what
South
part?
Side.
Yeah. South Side, okay. And how would you say you describe where you fit into like the Chicago sound right now?
Basically, I'm just gonna usher in a new sound because, like you say, it's a whole bunch of drill rappers. But how I'm coming, I'm telling the shorties to stay positive, create, dream and chase their goals. So we trying to step outside of the drill and just give them the real. You dig?
For sure. That's shit. City from that birth common and
yeah.
Hey, I want to just acknowledge some of the most influential guys that don't get love, the Cool Kids. Shout out to Chicago's own the Cool Kids.
Shout out to the
Chuck
Cool
English.
Kids.
I fuck with
Michael Rocks.
I got songs with Mikey Rocks.
Yeah, no, those guys.
Them
Those guys have influenced so much when it came to fashion and sonics and music, and they didn't really get their credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those guys that are super legends, man. So
shout out to the Cool Kids. Much love.
So the album comes out on the 20th.
420.
420.
Yeah.
It makes sense, man. Well, it's a holiday.
Yeah, big holiday.
It's definitely a holiday. Yeah, and it's a dope record. You're gonna like it. You're gonna be surprised.
Any features?
Yeah,
it's just me,
me,
bro.
right? Yeah.
The whole shit.
Yeah.
The 1-2 punch, man.
Yeah, you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna be like, oh man.
All right, well, yo, go get that. And then Are you working on any more solo shit, Twist?
Yeah. After that, I got a project solo that's gonna be called Shooter Ready.
Shooter Ready.
Shooter Ready. Yeah.
So how many records in are you on that?
It's pretty much done. I probably got like one record to do just because, and it's like a combination. It's flat out my original sound, but it's a combination of what you would normally hear me do musically, me attacking and beats and music, and then you got me doing music from the perspective, talking about guns from a perspective that you've never heard. You used to rah gun shit, but I'm talking about guns from a perspective you never heard before.
So you're talking about guns from the perspective of a guy who teaches a gun course now?
Not that simple. it ain't that simple.
Right.
But when you ain't gonna hear me say clip, you're gonna hear me say magazine.
Oh, okay.
But it's dope. You gonna hear it.
Talk about what you're doing with the real estate shit right now, because I think the real estate market is, I don't know how it is in Chicago, but I don't know everywhere else. It's crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean,
is that something that you've been investing in for a while?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely dabble in that area too. I try to have my hands in a few things. Right now, they say if you ain't got your hands in about 5, if you ain't got income coming from like 5 different sources, then you lacking. So we definitely try to keep busy in things like real estate. What I do with the music, what I do as far as with the gun life. A bunch of things.
Has there ever been any talks? Because we got the Bad Boy reunion tour, which was legendary. Yeah. There's been, so many dope, like, it's kind of, has there ever been anything kicked around about doing any sort of like Rocafella reunion tour or show or anything like that? I mean, I know the Dame J relationship is obviously what it is.
I don't know, but if they do it, I gotta jump down, and if they do another Bad Boy tour, I'm gonna have to send a clip of me doing "Is This the End" to Diddy, so he can see, like, damn, Twista spit this shit like yesterday, so he can be like,
come on in,
yeah,
come on over.
In.
You still got your Rocafella chain?
Of course.
That's something that that's like history, man.
Yeah, I need to bust it out at a show or something one day, or an occasion, a great moment or something. Bust it out.
Who actually, like, do you remember the actual show where you got the chain? Because I remember seeing it. I just don't remember, like you said, it wasn't in Chicago, but what was the actual?
I can't remember the actual place I was. I can't remember, but I remember how the stage looked and everything. When Dame walked on stage, how he gave it to me, the whole presentation and everything. So I was real geek.
Do you think Dame gets is like misunderstood sometimes? Because I feel like I feel like when I hear him talk, I understand what he's trying to say. Yeah. I just think sometimes he says it in a way that might be off-putting to certain people.
A little too rough.
But I understand what he's saying. I always understand what he's saying. Like, he's never really wrong. He just might
might say it a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he gets misunderstood a lot. But if you listen to him the right way, like you said, there's nothing but gems.
So many gems. Yeah. Did you ever have one of those like experiences with Dame where maybe because I always think back to watching Backstage, the movie where he was going off on Clue and Kevin Liles, and I mean, were you ever like a witness or
part of a go off moment?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad I missed all them go off moments. Yeah, I wasn't around those.
Yeah, because like I feel like. What year what year was We Are the Champions? Was that in 2002? 2001?
You're going to have a problem trying to get me to guess these years to match up these records.
That was paid in full soundtrack.
Pull it up or something.
Hey, when they sent you that record, We Are the Champions, was everyone's else shit already on it? Were you like how did you hear it?
I was actually in New York. I was actually standing in the studio with Beanie Siegel, with them talking about the record, with Dame explaining to me how he wanted it to sound and everything. And where did I record it at? Fuck, I can't remember where I recorded that record at. Did I record it in Chicago? And I can't remember when I recorded it, but I remember writing it. And I remember knowing
in New York.
The vibe. You remember where I recorded Champions at? But we got the record in New York, and I took it back to Chicago. That's what happened.
Were you there? Because what I loved about Beanie Siegel's verse on that song is it was really not. It was just really him. It was just him talking,
going off. Yeah.
Like it was just like energy. It wasn't so much about his rapping as much as it was like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he even stopped rapping.
That
like,
vibe. Yeah, I love that vibe he put on there.
Were you around like you say you were in with Beanie when that record got like explained? Was he did he record it that night or?
I don't think he recorded it that night, but yeah, I don't think he recorded it that night. But he was definitely around and just the whole vibe and everything. And then I was the new one to the team, so that was the energy that I had on that record right there on the Champion.
Oh yeah, when they brought you on, when Dame brought you on, it was like, oh man, and then you hit the home run. Yo, who's somebody who you've recorded a song with, or that you hopped on a record with, where you were intimidated when it came to like you've worked with a lot of legends, man, and like I said, you've done your thing on a lot of people's records and made them look crazy. But who's somebody who you were like extra like, man, I really got to bring my shit?
Damn, I don't know. I mean, I hate doing records with Tech Nine.
Yeah.
I hate doing records with that dude.
You guys got some shit.
Cause you gotta work. It's like I know he feel the same way. Trust me, if you ask him, he feels the same way.
I've talked to him about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're in a lazy mode, you don't want to do a record with him. You got to be ready. You got to like miss the shit out of rap.
Because Tech Nine's, I feel like Tech Nine always has the biggest chip on his shoulder when he raps. Like no matter what, he's like always. It's just there's a chip and
it's too much going on, and you got
because you were on
too much out.
You were on the Worldwide Choppers with Busta Rhymes, Yellow Wolf. There was a lot of people on that record. The Tech Nine record.
Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, like that record was crazy. Like when you go back and listen to that, that was like 8 minutes straight of people just from all over the world. Yeah, people
crazy.
from Turkey on there, all kinds of. It was Tech Nine's, man. Tech Nine's also for a lot of artists. If you want to come up, go watch a Tech Nine concert so you can figure out how to perform too, because that motherfucker's a beast live.
Oh yeah.
So who you got another guy?
It's probably a bunch of them, but I can't think of any right now that. Who pops right in my head. Of course, Jay.
Of course, Jay.
Yeah.
Poppin' Tags was one, man.
Well, I gotta do this record with this person, and I was like, damn, I wouldn't say worried or scared, but probably my thought process on how I was gonna come with my delivery or what to do with this particular person. So it'd be like, damn, this such and such or this so and so.
Right.
So like Mariah, somebody like that.
Yeah, like damn.
But like another rapper or something like that. It's probably somebody. I just can't think of anybody right now besides Tech.
Tech Nine.
That's the one that, and probably Busta.
Busta.
Yeah, it's the work. You got to put some damn work in, and you don't feel like all that sometimes.
For sure. What's your favorite personally? Like, what's your favorite album of yours?
Adrenaline Rush.
Adrenaline Rush. That was 97, right? Was that 96?
Yeah, 96.
I'm over here asking
96.
you about years and shit.
Yeah, about 96.
Adrenaline Rush, man.
I should remember, but
I feel like that's an album too. That's also like it's one of them. I feel like it's like a cult classic. Like my favorite movie is called The Big Lebowski. It's right up there. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't talk about The Big Lebowski. I feel like Adrenaline Rush is a cult classic. Like it's like if you know, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had to be there type shit.
Yeah, that's my joint right there, man. That's that. Of course, Kamikaze and my first album, but
Kamikaze was like
Rush
your commercial peak as far as like hit records on an album, right? Just like
that was like, yeah. I would call it my commercial peak.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, kind of, because you've had such a long career, obviously still doing your thing, but what do you think worked against you, kind of extending that peak longer?
Me loving rap from a certain angle. I always love rap from a rapper's perspective and not a be in the industry's perspective. And so sometimes some of that may have hindered me. I always had the will to want to be half normal, half amazing, or in this thing, you know. So I got to have a little bit of normal in my life, and I think that thought process kind of, you know, hinders me in because to be in the industry, man, like successful, people outside of it don't realize how much hard work it is. It's way harder than the 9 to 5, but they don't know that until they try to get in it and do it, you know. So
you're saying essentially, like, you know, like you said, you know, if you're in the industry, you got to go to functions, you got to kind of have fake friends, like people who you kind of talk to just because it's a good, like, you know, there's associates, there's a lot of people who you might consider acquaintances but not friends in the music industry, right?
Man, you gotta do it's a lot of bullshitting other people, and it's an extremely lot of bullshitting yourself, and it's just only so much I can bullshit myself, you know what I mean? So I just got to keep it real. I wanted to be a dope ass rapper, rock shows, rock people, put out records, and there was a certain extent of it. You know, so to get to a certain level, to have to act a certain way or be a certain way or fake a certain friendship with certain people, and isn't that, I just couldn't be into all that.
What was a feature that almost happened that didn't happen for you?
Damn. Ooh. I know it's gonna be one that come right in my head quick. Let me think.
I always think back to like just being like a big fan of Biggie and thinking like how
I got a late one. I first off, let me say I love all rappers in Texas. I'm a fan of all rappers in Texas. And with that being said, I was just about to do a feature with Mo3.
Oh.
Yeah. We was like probably days away, right? We were literally days away from working on a record together.
So he passed, was it this year? Or was it late last year? Mo3 is dope, man. He just put a new album out too. So that just came out Friday.
Yeah, all of them guys dope, man.
So you're always just been a big fan of the Texas guys.
Yeah, all the Texas guys, Dallas, Houston, all of them.
Yeah. Hey, sure. Hey, man, what was it like coming up at the same time as Common in the same city? Because that's the Common. I mean, I loved Resurrection and like that era of Common, like when he was Common Sense. Like you guys kind of being on like opposite sounds of the same city. Like, did you guys have a good relationship in the 90s? Like,
yeah, we was always cool. We never really got a chance to like hang around each other like as much as we probably could have, but you know, just was on different vibes. You know, he was a South Side guy, I was a West Side guy. My music was, you know, more street orientated. His was more hip hop orientated. You know,
were you rooting for him when he put out the bitch in you against Ice Cube?
Oh yeah, ooh man, ooh, that was bad right there.
That was cold.
I knew what was gonna happen. You know, but damn, I didn't know it was gonna happen like that. And as smooth as it happened.
Yeah.
I think Cube himself even respected it. I wilded out when I saw Cube too, man. I had a fan out moment. When
of course.
Him. Yeah, like damn.
There's a few of those guys. Yeah. Shit. I mean, it's crazy because, you know, losing DMX, that was one of the few guys in hip hop I met who I like really was like starstruck. I had to like tell him like, man, you don't understand what you meant to me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I saw him at an award show. And I fanned out and didn't speak to him. He was walking past, so he didn't really see me. And I had the opportunity to probably speak to him, but I just looked and fanned out. And because of the current situation, that's one moment I regret that I didn't go straight at him.
Oh, you talking about DMX?
Yeah.
For sure. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, he lived a good life. You know, there was an interview clip that I saw recently on the Drink Champs where he said, if I drop dead tomorrow, I lived a good life. And he did live a good life, man.
Yeah.
He touched a lot of people.
Yeah.
So.
Rest in peace to DMX.
Well, look, the new album is out 420.
Yeah.
EP. And then a new Twista album will be coming shortly after. As you said, it's pretty much done.
Yep. 420, we got News at 9 with Rello the Dreamer right here with me. Chi-Town. And then we got Shooter Ready that's coming after that. We got a bunch of dope songs. It's like a mixture of Adrenaline Rush and Shooter songs.
Features on that?
Oh yeah, it's a few surprises on there.
Okay.
I didn't go too hard with the features. It's a few surprises. I kept it Adrenaline Rush-esque.
Do you enjoy being independent now? Like as opposed to the major label shit?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed it once I got into it, you know. Yeah, when we first started off, we was killing it too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always like, you know, it's I think nowadays specifically, back in the day, it would make sense to sign to a major label.
Yeah, I think once you learn the ropes a little bit, learn the business, got people on your team that can kind of emulate what you would get from a record label, and especially got some income.
Well, yeah. Now I feel like nowadays you go straight to the fans. Back in the day, you kind of needed a label to get to your fans.
Yeah,
because there was no internet.
Almost like it's
no
like
social
technology
media.
was expensive then.
Yeah, now it's free.
And labels, they had the money to do it.
Right.
And now technology advanced to the level where, it can't be controlled like that and in one way. So I think a lot of artists today got an advantage. The advantage today is that you can use technology in a way that we couldn't in the past. The other difference, though, is that the playing field, you got so many people to be up against that also have the internet for free.
Got you.
So it kind of balances itself out when you have the OGs like, oh, y'all got it easier than us because not really, because the new cats got to go against 1 million other people when you were probably the only person rapping in your neighborhood.
Right, because now everyone's rapping. Everyone can get Fruity Loops. Everyone can go buy a mic for $100.
So it evens itself out.
It's
everybody
like
got their little perception.
The gift and the curses of each era even themselves out. Yeah, for sure. Because now you got, like you said, it's the everything's so saturated. It's like it's like DJing. Back in the day, you had to buy records. You had to learn how to actually mix. Now you got a laptop, you download some songs, you get a little controller and you go do a gig. Back in the day, it was not like that. Well, not you
can literally play a video of a DJ's old DJ set
right
at your party.
That shit crazy. Well, look, Twista, thank you for coming through, man. The legend Twista. Go get your new project. Appreciate you coming through.
Love, bro.
Man, let's get to it. Boom, perfect.
Much love, y'all.